ANC is expected to focus on strategies for the upcoming local government elections on what is day 3 of the party's National General Council. Party leaders have repeatedly warned that the ANC must shape up or face extinction. Central to today's discussions is a proposed set of stricter criteria for who may stand as candidates on the party's behalf. Let's take you live to Boksburg and to Newzroom Afrika's Quinita Hunter, who's been tracking that story this week. And this is essential, isn't it, Quinita, this process for stricter criteria? Shall we say better late than never?
Absolutely, Michelle, and that's the focus of the conversation today, is to how does the ANC ensure that the best among them are put forward to represent the party. You'd know in the past, on candidate lists, you'd sometimes find people accused of corruption. In some instances, many years ago, there were people who were accused of even murder that made their way through the cracks and onto the ANC list. The ANC says they want to strengthen this process. And so if you want to apply to be a candidate representing the ANC in the upcoming local government elections, you need to have a CV, you need to submit a clearance certificate from the police that you don't have any criminal record. If you want to be a mayor, you have to have a postgraduate degree. Councillors have to have grade 12. So these are some of the guidelines. But is this enough? Now, this is a question I'm going to pose to Maropene Ramokgopa, Minister in the Presidency, but today you are speaking as an ANC Top 7 member. Local government elections is going to be a critical time for the ANC. This midterm review of the ANC is essentially facing an existential question around how does the ANC not further decline in support. Is this enough?
It is definitely enough. If you can look at the commissions that we'll be having today, we've got 4 commissions that will be dealing with strengthening ANC's capacity in the state. Organizing will be talking about the capacity of the ANC, but we've got local government intervention, but we also have governance, but we also have elections. So we've got about 4 commissions that will be directly dealing with capacity of the state, in particular the ANC. So this becomes enough precisely because we are going to be looking at the things that we said we would do that we didn't do, because people don't want us to just come up with new things all the time. And we're not only going to look at the 55th National Conference's resolution, we are going to start even from the Freedom Charter itself. If you can look at what the President was talking about yesterday, to say there are things that we have done, there is progress that we have done. And if you can look at, maybe if we are going to talk about housing, before we would say that we build a million houses, let me say, and give you an example. However, we need to then now capture it in a different way to be able to say that we gave 1 million people assets that they can be able to utilize, and those assets are in a form of a house, because the house is an asset. So it is definitely enough. We are looking at better ways to communicate, better ways to package what we have done, and better ways to then now be able to communicate what we want to do, but equally so better ways to then now be able to say, how do we then now build back confidence of the state where the ANC is leading in the masses that we are supposed to be serving.
The President a few months ago said a controversial statement around the fact that where municipalities are well run, it's most likely that there's not ANC-run municipalities, and the Auditor General gives that picture every year when she presents audit reports on municipalities. How does this midterm review, this NGC, actually whip your delegates in line to say you have to shape up? The ANC has less than a year to make some difference.
We've already improved as it relates to the issue of how we deal with municipalities. We are no longer going to dealing with municipalities as a municipality, but we are now receiving reports from each and every councillor. And as a result, the troikas of municipalities as well are reporting to Litule House, which we didn't do before, to Litule House every month, so that we can then now have a database and check if people are moving or not. We are also having a hotline that we are using from government as well as from the ANC, where we are actually checking if there is movement and responses as it relates to service delivery. I do believe that the President did clarify, of course, what he meant. It was about accountability. And indeed, there is a lot that we spoke about when we had the local government summit that we had, the roll call, where we spoke about how to deal with accountability, because without accountability, we're not going to be able to do much. Today's or commissions that will be sitting will also be dealing with better ways of dealing with accountability. So those are some of the things that will be at the center of the discussions as it relates to the midterm report that we'll be having and the commissions that will be dealing specifically with governance.
And just finally, Minister Ramokgopa, for the public that's watching, it's day 3 of this NGC. What can they expect as a tangible difference from the party going forward?
So what is going to be different right now is that we are, of course, taking stock of what we were supposed to do, but we are also going to reprioritize some of the resolutions that we took so that we then now are able to know how do we move towards 2027, where we'll then now be getting a new mandate. But not only that, in terms of renewal, the Vision 2032, we are also going to reprioritize some of the resolutions that we took. Whereas in the past, we'll just take stock, but this time around, we are going to reprioritize precisely because we are now operating in a different set of governance, which is the GNU. And the balance of forces internationally are also changing, the geopolitical issues. Therefore, the reprioritization of what do we do first, what do we put together, what do we club together, and how do we coordinate the resolutions of the ANC in terms of priority is what will be different this time around.
Right, and we will watch that when delegates reconvene tomorrow on Thursday to adopt the declarations of this NGC, and when President Cyril Ramaphosa gives the march of order to their top delegates here at the NGC. Michelle?